The deepest heartbreak isn't losing a relationship, it's losing yourself inside one. And for years, I didn't even realize I was doing exactly that. I kept quiet. I stayed small. I lowered my needs. I convinced myself that my inner voice was too dramatic, unrealistic, too demanding. Does that sound familiar? The hardest no I ever said, the one that changed my entire life, was the moment I stopped abandoning myself. And I need to say this real clear before we go any further in this video. This video is not telling you to divorce your partner. It's not telling you to walk away. This video is about empowering yourself inside and outside your relationship and taking back your voice, like your needs, your alignment, your power. Let's get into it, y'all. I spent years pushing down that quiet inner voice that was whispering, you need more connection, more partnership, more alignment, more truth. And every time I raised those needs, I heard the same things that women hear everywhere. Oh, well, it's not too bad. Or you're expecting too much. Well, marriage is hard. Deal with it. You'll be fine. I also did what so many women do. I compared myself, my situation, to others. I would shrink myself to just keep the peace, and I convinced myself that the problem was me. And I convinced myself also that my needs were unrealistic. But as many of you guys know, that voice just does not go away. I asked for certain things. I tried to heal. I tried to adapt. I tried to change myself to actually make the relationship work. And every time I was just shrinking and disappearing. Eventually, I just had to tell the truth. This no longer fits me. I cannot keep disappearing just to make it fit. Listen, y'all, leaving my marriage, it wasn't an act of anger. It wasn't impulsive. And it wasn't revenge, and it certainly was not a giving up. It was simply an act of truth, an act of what I call respect for both of us, an act of my needs matter too. And let me say that because everybody's path is going to be a little bit different. Nothing like mine. Your no might lead to reconnection. Maybe it leads to healing. Maybe it leads to therapy. It might lead to deeper intimacy. And it might lead to clarity, and it might go somewhere entirely different, but there is no right path. There is only your path. I'm not going to romanticize this. Like, honestly, learning how not to shrink yourself is not so liberating in the beginning. It's painful. It's terrifying. It's like destabilizing. You're like, what the heck is going on here? I can't tell you how many tears have been shed, the anxiety, the grief, the pure shock of starting over financially, emotionally, logistically. I more or less had to step back into adulthood again in many ways that I had not done in years. And I had shame, so much shame. Shame about losing financial security, shame about starting from zero after a decade of being out of the workforce, about suddenly having to handle things that my partner used to handle, and also realizing I didn't have no backup plan because when we're in love, we're not thinking of escape routes, we're thinking of building a life together. I didn't allow shame to give the final say because underneath all of it, there was something else. The woman I always wanted to be was finally able to breathe again. Even with all the tears, even with all the stress, even with rebuilding myself from scratch, which I'm still in the process, I am becoming the woman I've been longing to be. I'm pouring myself into my business, something I had actually put on hold for years. I'm here creating content. I'm showing up online as consistently as I can, and I'm building a brand, a voice, a mission. After a decade, I am re-entering the world. I'm doing this all still while I'm homeschooling my kids, being present as a mother and holding true to my values. People thought that I was crazy when I first said that I was separating from my husband. They said, oh, you're not going to be able to do that without getting an office job. That as a woman starting over in midlife, that I didn't have many options. In my eyes, I had already sacrificed enough. So I've said no to that because I'm a rebel at heart. I'm like, no, I am not limiting myself, and I'm not going to abandon my dreams because somebody else doesn't believe in them. I'm here building my business my way, a lifestyle my way, and a schedule that works for me. The funny thing, as I'm in it, I've stepped into this power that I feel like has been waiting for me this whole time. Here's the part that I want every woman to hear, which I think you know already. Women, we are unbelievably powerful when we stop betraying ourselves. Now, again, I do not want you to think this video is about leaving a relationship. This is about stopping the habit of leaving yourself. Stop shrinking, not silencing yourself, not minimalizing, not gaslighting your own needs, and not disappearing just to keep the peace. What I want you to feel is that empowerment of yourself within your relationship, or empowering yourself to change the relationship dynamic with honesty, humility, and just some good old love. And especially when you have children, obviously this matters. I have 3 kids, so I know this is especially important when you have children. It matters so much. I wholeheartedly feel that when your decisions come from a loving place, everything changes. My family's transition, it's been peaceful because we move through it with respect, maturity, and love. I know your story might end up being different. Every human is different. Every relationship is going to be different. Growth is possible, especially when it's built with a foundation of love for the other person, but even for yourself. I want to hear from you. Have you, or are you having the feeling that you've shrunk yourself within your relationship? Your honesty might quite well give another woman out there the courage that she needs today. And look, if you want to rebuild your confidence, your identity, and your strength inside and outside your relationship, I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter so that way we can stay connected. If you are ready to turn this inner awakening into some daily action, then check out the next video. It pairs perfectly with this one because it talks about some of the other boundaries that I have established in my midlife years. You don't have to shrink to be loved, and you do not have to abandon yourself to keep a relationship alive. And lastly, you don't have to be small to be safe. Your needs, your truth, and your alignment, it truly matters. You deserve a life and relationships that meet you with the same fullness that you're bringing. Go out there and keep moving, keep glowing, and remember, you are sexy, strong, and unstoppable.